Hey guys, welcome back to the Debate Hut. Today I'm going to do a non-spoiler review on one of Amazon Prime's latest shows, My Lady Jane. The plot of the show is Lady Jane Grey and her husband Guildford live during the reign of Edward, son of Henry VIII. She unexpectedly finds herself crowned queen overnight and becomes the target of criminals who want her throne and her head. So I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this show, what I liked, what I didn't like, and if you should give it a go. But in case if you're interested, don't worry, as there'll be no spoilers. And just to note, Grace hasn't watched it, so we'll hear Grace's thoughts at the end if this is something she'll want to watch. And yeah, so before I start, please make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts on the show and if you want a season 2. So, to be honest, I only heard of this show by chance, and that was because of the boys. Thursday morning, opened up Amazon Prime and saw the show on the front page, and I had a quick look at what it was about. Didn't watch the trailer or anything, and it looked actually kind of interesting. It looked quite different. It's not the kind of stuff I usually go for. And yeah, and also two things I want to point out. First thing, if you are interested in watching this show, stay away from the trailer. Because I watched the trailer after watching the show, and the trailer reveals a lot of stuff. It spoils quite a bit, I would say personally, so I would say avoid the trailer. Second thing, it is very important to acknowledge that the show isn't historically accurate. It is not based 100% on the life of Lady Jane Grey, also known as the Nine Days Queen, but the show twists the story, which I quite enjoyed. So from the start, I was straight away captivated and kind of horrified as well, in a good way, though.
Mhm.
Like, I wasn't expecting the show to be so different and wild. I think the best way to describe it is wild. And like I said, the show is not historically accurate. In fact, there's sort of a fantasy element to it, which I was not expecting, which I absolutely loved about it. Now, I don't want to say too much about that because I feel like I'd spoil it, but for anybody who wants something that's maybe historical, like based, and it's got that sort of like fantasy sort of theme in it, then give this a go. So that's probably another reason why I enjoyed it. And straight away from when the show starts, we're introduced straight away to Jane, who's a very interesting character. She kind of reminds me of Merida from the Disney movie Brave, because she wants to choose her own path, and that is to write a book and to be free. But her family, well, her mother, gets in the way, and other things happen on the way. Jane's character arc is absolutely amazing. We get to see her go on this journey, learn new things about the outside world and what is really going on because she sort of doesn't know what's going on in the real world. Like she has a very close view, and I mean, that's just her upbringing. But to be honest, at the same time, she kind of is the only person who's really really knowledgeable. The chemistry between her and Guildford, my God, it was amazing. They picked a great cast. You could feel the sparks and the passion, and yeah, absolutely loved getting to see their relationship. I don't think that's a spoiler, but I'm not going to say too much on it. But anyway, for anyone who's a fan of A Discovery of Witches, Guildford is played by the same actor who played Marcus, so that was pretty cool. And actually, talking about cast, it was great also getting to see the star of the Disney Plus show Extraordinary appear. And she's really like her character, like they're really similar. So it's lovely to see her. In fact, when comparing Extraordinary and My Lady Jane, the show is quite similar in their humor and the sort of characters that they have and the language and the sort of themes that they talk about. Now, for anybody who's watched Extraordinary, I think you would understand what I mean by that. But yeah, if you haven't seen Extraordinary, do give it a go. Check out our review on it as well. But that is off topic again. I want to talk about the casting now a little bit, just about the different characters and stuff. So, one of the characters we have is King Edward, and I know some people, I've already heard of it, and yeah, I know. So I've heard of it, some people's thoughts on this. because there is a bit of a problem with the actor playing King Edward, and I understand it, and it kind of doesn't make sense as well to me, but on a personal level, it didn't bother my watching experience. So if that is something you can ignore, then you'll be fine. You should give it a go before deciding, and then you can always just say it wasn't for you, but I can understand why people didn't enjoy who they picked to play King Edward, but it didn't really deter me from watching the show. And about the other characters, we get to see it's really about palace life. So Edward's sisters, Mary, Elizabeth, both two names that we're very familiar with just from doing history at school and stuff and on Henry VIII. So it was really nice getting to see both of them, and yeah, it's really interesting characters. Especially that twist. There's a twist with Elizabeth, though they call her Bess in the show. There's a twist with her right at the end, which I was absolutely shocked by. I did not see it coming, so that was really nice. I'm sure some people might have seen it coming, but I didn't. We get Guildford's family, so he's got a brother and his father, both really developed. And it was really nice because even though the show is called Lady Jane Grey, oh sorry, My Lady Jane, but it's all about Lady Jane Grey, it does also let the other characters get involved and go on their own journeys. Like all of these characters sort of went on a journey apart from two who kind of just stayed pretty much the same. But yeah, I mean, that'll make sense when you watch it. But in terms of the story, again, don't want to say too much, but from the plot that I've already just mentioned before, you've discovered that Jane finds herself becoming queen unexpectedly and has the challenge of trying to fit in, protect her loved ones, and also be the queen she was meant to be and she wants to be because she wants to be a good role model and be a good protector of her peoples. I'm trying to be really careful with what I say because I don't want to spoil anything. So sorry if this sounds really strange, but for anybody who's watched it, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. It's really a learning journey for her, whilst also getting married to a guy she can't stand. She grows to have feelings for him, and well, actually, the show describes it as lust at first sight, which was interesting to see how that happened and all of that. But yeah, like I said, the story mainly focuses on Jane, but it also does have Edward on the side going through things, and her two sisters and the royal family, and it's it's a family drama. Let's be real, it's a family drama. It's a royal family drama. And the twists in the show, I think for personally for me, some of them were predictable, but some of them weren't as well. So didn't affect my watching experience, but again, I can understand why some people might have had a problem with it. I don't think this is a spoiler because I mean they had it in the trailer and I don't think it's a big thing. But the show has a narrator. And when we're first introduced to him, right at the beginning, I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of put off. But because I felt like he was gonna be quite annoying and it's just like always like popping in here and there. But actually, you know what? I actually really grew to enjoy the narrator, and I think it was a really good inclusion. Like he made the show much more enjoyable, and he was kind of like our voice in the show. Someone like from the 21st century, narrating, like it was that sort of thing. Like it was sort of relatable in a sense. Another thing I enjoyed was the soundtrack. If you guys have heard any of my previous reviews on different stuff, I always mention the soundtrack and the score. And the soundtrack and the songs they picked were absolutely perfect. It matched so well, and it was actually really great getting to hear a song from Dorothy included as well, because I'm a fan of the group. So yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, all the songs they picked, it fits in perfectly with the mood and everything. It's a comedy and there's romance as well. So it's a rom-com, which two things I absolutely love as well. And they were brilliant. Everything made it into, all of these things made it into a great story. I can understand why it might not be sort of sort of a good show for some people, not so entertaining. But for me personally, it was a really entertaining show. Just that it was just really different from the kind of stuff I usually see. Be warned, this is not a show to watch with your parents. There are a lot of scenes and language that might make some uncomfortable. I will give you that heads up. Yeah. One thing I personally wasn't a fan of, I feel like there were quite a lot of heated moments, if you guys get what I mean. And I felt like it was a bit too much. Like it focused a bit too much on it on some of these episodes. And I was like, Jesus Christ, can we just skip to the good stuff? Like it just felt really unnecessary. So I mean that's just personally. I know some people wouldn't have a problem with, but I mean it didn't again affect my watching experience. But yeah, overall, the show is very entertaining. It's not like one of the shows that I will be screaming about for ages, but at the end of the day, I think personally it's a very good show. It's very entertaining. It has some good twists, good characters. I really loved Lady Jane and getting to explore her. Like she was a really I mean she's the title character, right? But she was just really good and the chemistry between these characters, especially her and Guildford, my God, so good. But yeah, 100% would recommend. I binge watched it, which just shows how good it was. I'd give it an 8.5. But yeah, that is pretty much my review on My Lady Jane. Grace, I'm gonna hand it over to you because I feel like I've talked for so long now. What do you
No,
think?
no, that I'm intrigued now. Like, I don't know, because I'm not the kind of person who would watch shows based on like historical events. I have watched a few like with friends and family, but not with like not for my entertainment. So like Downton Abbey or like Victoria and all that. So yeah, but this does sound quite interesting because this doesn't feel like your typical like historical TV show. I mean, if it does have a bit of fantasy, that took me by surprise. But you know what? It might actually spice up the genre. So yeah, that's kind of sound interesting. Yeah, I might. I'm definitely gonna try to give it a go soon. See
I
what's.
really think you'll enjoy it because you really enjoyed Extraordinary. So if you enjoyed that, I feel like you'll enjoy this. Like they're so similar. Like
Mm.
I'm loving these, getting to see these British shows and stuff. Like it's always,
Yeah,
I mean, not that I have a problem with American shows, but it's always American, really, pretty much.
yeah.
It's
We
just really
need
nice
we
getting
need
to see, yeah,
yeah more in our like in our homeland in a way.
that is my non-spoiler review today on My Lady Jane, which I hope you enjoyed and found interesting at least. I don't know, I feel like I went all over the place because there was just so much running through my head. But to sum it up, entertaining, a rom-com, good cast chemistry, and got a fantasy element to it. And yeah, it's honestly just an easy watch. But really interested to hear what you guys think. So comment down below with your thoughts on the show. Did you like it? What didn't you like? Would you like to see a season two? Let us know all of that down below. Anyone who's also read the books, because I haven't, how does the show compare out of curiosity? So let us know that as well. It seems like it'd be quite a good series to read. So yeah, let me know if you recommend it. And please like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our videos. Check out our Twitter, Instagram, and website, and also some of our other videos. Mentioned quite a few reviews, but definitely if you haven't watched Extraordinary, watch that because it's so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.